we already have questions piling up here, so we want to get to those. But prior to getting to the questions, I think it would be good for you to maybe give us a little overview, just kind of lay the groundwork for how this pricing change came to be, maybe some of the data, some of the research that you guys did prior to coming out with this change yesterday.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So I think folks are probably pretty up to speed, but I'll try to make the overview fast. The way I think about it, quite honestly, is just that our pricing was pretty broken. The reality is that courses were list priced from $9 to $300, but 90% of purchases were happening with a coupon code and at a price point less than $50. And so we were spending sort of the last 6 months or so really diving into this. And we talked with a number of instructors. What we heard over and over again was just, it's a race to the bottom. We're locking students into these really low price points. My brand is becoming all about price, not about learning, not about the amazing content here. What we heard from students was, I'm really confused. I see one price that's really high up on the website. I see another one that's different in email. I feel like I can't trust the list prices on Udemy, and this is just sort of hurting my trust with Udemy, with the courses, with instructors, and just this overall feeling of there's got to be a better way forward. So that was some of the impetus. And then, we felt like, well, there are three big pieces to this change, right? The first was, if discounts are part of the problem, we actually just need to limit the discounts. There's no real way around that, right? So right. That's where the 50% cap on the discounts came from, and feeling like, we need to be in on this together with our instructors and trying to provide a consistent experience for students. And so that's why we wanted to have that cap for both Udemy coupons and instructor coupons. We then felt like, the average selling price today is about $15. And students have expressed this willingness to pay pretty clearly. They're paying less than $50 on 90% of their purchases. And even when we looked at some of our other channels with new students, $50 was that natural cap. So we thought that's sort of what led us to the $50 cap. And when we thought about caps that were higher than that, we thought that the average selling price might jump out to $50 or maybe even $70. And we thought that was going to be a bad thing for students and for instructor earnings. It was going to go outside of that willingness to pay, and courses weren't going to be as affordable, which is bad for students and ultimately hurts earnings. And then the last piece is students were just saying, the pricing's so complex, it needs to be simpler. And that's where the idea for the tiers came from, and said, why don't we just try to have 7 tiers and just make things easier for students to make that decision more about what they actually want to learn, as opposed to having to always make the decision based on price.
So it sounds like you wanted to remove some friction in the buying process, right?
That was a huge part of it. Yeah. From the student's perspective, and we heard this over and over, it's like, when I have a learning need, when I have some skill I want to go pick up, I have to wait for a coupon to go do that. And I get coupons fairly frequently, but still you're putting a friction in the process. I can't just go over and actually get the course that I want to get. And so yeah, a good part of it was, how do we reduce that friction and then ultimately also increase the trust? I thought Scott Duffy put out a great article that was sort of highlighting how a lot of the things we're doing are really trying to increase trust in the marketplace. And we were working on the pricing work actually before any of the piracy stuff happened. But yeah, that theme of increasing trust is really important to us, and I think is really how we all enable more students to learn on Udemy, become more successful. And we just felt like we got to do a better job there. And so this is one of those steps.